What's going on, everyone, and welcome to my review of Wonka, the latest film directed by Paul King, and it is a prequel to the 1971 classic film Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Now, this film stars Timothée Chalamet, Carla Lane, Keegan-Michael Key, Hugh Grant, Olivia Colman, Jim Carter, Rowan Atkinson, and Matt Lucas. Now, the synopsis of this film reads: Willy Wonka, chock full of ideas and determined to change the world one delectable bite at a time, is proof that the best things in life begin with a dream. And if you're lucky enough to meet Willy Wonka, anything is possible. So for some rundown with what I think of the other two films in this franchise, I really enjoyed the 1971 original. I love that it can be kind of enjoyed as a kid's movie, but also you can see all the weird and creepy undertones and stuff like that makes it a really enjoyable, multi-layered watch. And I'd say the same about the Johnny Depp film, which I like just as much, honest to God, because I never grew up with these films. I actually only just watched them this year. So, going in pretty unbiased, I liked both of those films equally. I really liked what Johnny Depp brought to the character, and I really liked that it kind of leaned into the darker side more. I don't know, I just found it really fascinating, and I thought it was like a positive direction to go in. If you're going to remake a classic, then you're going to do it. You want to do it like that. You want to change it up a little bit. So this film, I was interested to see. I wasn't dying to see it because I have never really watched many Timothée Chalamet movies, and his films have never really interested me. But I thought, you know what? From the trailers, it looks fun enough. I'm a bit bored and may as well go out and see a movie. This is the only thing that's really showing at the moment, so I went and watched it, and I had a decent enough time. So to start off with the positives, and what I think is the main positive of this film is the visual flair. It's a very good-looking film, despite the fact that its colour palette is quite limited throughout the runtime. It's very much brown and grey and rundown, and Wonka is kind of like this one shining maroon colour that just, appears. He's like, the light, a beam in the dark, or whatever you want to say. He's kind of just the hope around this pretty corrupt and miserable town. I think some of the scenes when all the chocolate effects do weird shit and stuff like that, I think they all looked really good, really funny, really vibrant. I think that there are some parts in the actual chocolate shop that look amazing. There's one sequence towards the end of the film. It's kind of like a pan around shot, and it's just kind of like showing the development of something, and it's just magnificently done. I also thought that this film was quite funny too, actually. There was a lot of parts that I laughed at. I wasn't expecting to, so that's good. There were some jokes that didn't go over so well. Mostly the jokes that Wonka tells, or the things that he says that are supposed to be funny.
So quiet up and listen down. Nope, scratch that, reverse it.
That's more to appeal to little kids, which is fine. That's who this film is kind of mainly directed towards. But Keegan-Michael Key in this film is just fucking hilarious. I laughed probably about 6 or 7 times at his character. So every time he was on screen, it was great. And he was probably the standout of the film to me. But the light shouldn't only be shined on Keegan-Michael Key, because Carla Lane as Noodle in this film is brilliant. I believe this is her first film, maybe her second film, but she's unbelievably good in this film. She has a really interesting character and a great story behind her, and you really want to know. You want to know what happened. You want to know who she is, where she's come from, and that is all handled in very moving and sweet ways. And I really liked it. And she, honest to God, makes Wonka's character better, because I was never really invested in Wonka in this movie at all, but I was invested in his relationship with Noodle. And this movie absolutely would suffer greatly without her. I also really enjoyed all the songs here. I thought they were really quite catchy and got stuck in my head, but not in a bad way. There was none that I didn't enjoy. There was none to me that felt out of place. And I think that Timothée Chalamet actually can sing, and I was surprised by that. But as you would expect, the music is very good, very classic Wonka. A lot of cues back to the original film, which I loved, and I think that the musical side of things, for someone that doesn't particularly like musicals that much, I thought that this was really, really well done. And lastly, for my positives, I do absolutely love the way this film wraps up. The last 5-10 minutes make it entirely worth watching for me. I think it was just so good, and I left the theater feeling satisfied and like full, if that makes sense. I had the movie, I had the chocolate, and now I'm full. Basically, is how I was, and I'm like, satisfied and happy. And there's kind of like a relationship that you learn on early in the movie about Willy Wonka and his mum, and that was so well handled, and I really love that. But this film, for me, seriously lacks what makes both the other Willy Wonka films great. And that is the sick, twisted, and just deranged undertones. Like, that original film, and even the remake, Charlie and the Chocolate, like, they both feel like a Saw film disguised as a kid's movie. There is one line of dialogue in this film that slightly hints at Wonka's kind of deranged mindset. One line. And I was so disappointed, because while it captures, the happy and whimsical, vibrant part of it really well, and it does a great job with that, it completely misses what I think makes a Wonka film so good. And I was really, really disappointed that they missed out on that. And also, this film is supposed to be a prequel to the Gene Wilder film, and it doesn't work with that mindset. Just nothing lines up properly. It's like Gene Wilder has this look in his eye, where it's like he could just snap at any moment. Timothée Chalamet portrays Wonka as a much softer hearted character than the original film does. And again, it leads back to it kind of just missing that darkness. And I think that they could have done it. I think that they could have, because the original film, kids can watch it and love it, and adults can watch it and love it as well, but also see the underneath of everything. Whereas this film feels more just directed to kids, which is fine. And I think they'll really enjoy it. And it's already a massive hit. But as a prequel to that film, and it doesn't have it. And there are just some things that don't make sense, like, I won't go into it, but in this film, there's a prequel to why Wonka uses fine print on his terms and conditions, and it makes zero sense. It doesn't work. So at the end of the day, this movie was fine. I don't regret watching it. I'm actually happy that I watched it, because, I was like, I want to see this. I want to see what Timothée Chalamet can do, and he does fine, I guess. He's just doesn't capture the same spirit as the original Wonka. It captures the magic, doesn't capture the fucking darkness of it, which is what makes it so intriguing and so entertaining and enjoyable to watch. So yeah, I'm pretty in the middle, but leaning positive. If you're someone that just is like, a family, you could definitely take a family out to this to see it, and I think you will not regret spending your money whatsoever. I'm going to give Wonka 3 stars. Thanks so much for watching my review on Wonka. Check it out if you're interested, because, I think it's pretty good, but nothing to write home about. I've seen a few 5-star reviews on The Guardian and stuff. I'm just like, what fucking movie did you watch? But that's that. I'll see you all later. Bye.